Hi, I'm here with Azita Panapor, and I'm very excited to hear the inside story of how you created your pieces. I actually saw your show at the National Arts Club, and it was amazing. And now I want to know more. So let's get started, and you can share some of your story.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, I'm thrilled. So anyway, the first thing I want to ask you is that you have a background as American but an Iranian, and I wanted to know, like, what do you use your art to tell the story of your life?
I definitely do. I've actually been here in this country for over 40 years, so I feel like I'm a bit more American than I am Iranian. But at the same time, I'm married to my husband who's Iranian. My daughter speaks the language, so we're very much rooted to our culture and our traditions and the language, and it's part of who I am. So when it became time for me to create what I have been navigating with my artwork, it just tended to become, something that was inherent in me.
Well, I noticed in your artwork there's a big concentration on the Farsi language, but you look at it a different way, not as words, but as shapes and lines and
Mhm.
calligraphic feeling. So, can you explain just your whole concept of contemporizing that aspect of writing?
Exactly. Basically, what it came down to me trying to work with the Persian alphabets, I knew I didn't want to do the exact calligraphy that is done over and over and is so beautiful. I wanted it to be a little bit more modern. So when I looked at these words, I started taking them apart and just really looking at each individual letter, and the shapes of them were just so beautiful to me, especially this form of uh, typography that I'm using is called the Nastalir script, and it's very precise. And when calligraphers actually use that, they have to be very technically savvy with it. So I actually am not as savvy with the calligraphy portion of it, but I adored the way those shapes were. And for me, I repeat one letter over and over again, enlarged, rotated, placed on top of each other, holding on together, gathering or falling. So each time it feels like it's telling a different story by just that one letter being repeated.
Yes, you've used the words visual poetry, and I
Mm.
think that's what you're doing.
That's precisely what I'd like to do, like try to have that connection visually as opposed to verbally.
Well, now that you're talking about how you're what you're expressing, the materials that you're using are very different. In the show at the National Arts Club, I saw you had a lot of paintings, but you also had some sculpture. So I'm curious about your feelings about the creative process for both of them.
I started off doing paintings, and I use also a lot of distress background. This sort of gives this idea of fading memories, which relates to my story as in passage of time. So that became a big part of the story. But this year, I wanted to do something more, and with the shapes of the letters and the connections that they were making together, sort of this bonding or the dancing or the links that they create. I thought if I removed it from that background, I could do something a little bit more graphic with it. And once I did that, I felt like it almost like had a heartbeat. It became alive. So I got really excited about this new dimension that I'm taking it forward.
Wonderful. So let me ask you one more question. This is a surprise. So you're at the National Arts Club in a beautiful exhibition space, I must say. How long is the show going to be on?
Until April 6th.
Okay, so we made it. Okay, well, thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing more of your work on display.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.